Hello friends, this is PP. I am going to discuss the topic on physiological acid-base balance, and the topic is derived from the chapter Major Intra and Extracellular Electrolyte. Before going to discuss the main content of this topic, I want to define some biological terms which are somehow confusing but very meaningful in biology and medicine. You can see this below the figure. The spaces are here. The first one, intracellular space. The next is intercellular space, extracellular space, intestinal space, and interstitial space. First of all, intracellular space. So, if this is a cell, the inside area is called intracellular area or intracellular space, and the fluid content here is called intracellular fluid. The next one, intercellular space. If this is one cell, this is another cell, so the space between two cells is called intercellular space, and the fluid content here is called intercellular fluid. Next one is extracellular space, the space outside the cell. This is the outside area of a cell, and the space is called extracellular space, and the content is here is extracellular fluid. Next one is intestinal space, the space inside the intestine or alimentary canal. So it's called intestinal space, and the fluid content here is intestinal fluid. Next one is interstitial space. So the space between the capillaries and the cells is called interstitial space. Then this is the figure which indicates the interstitial space which contains the fluid is called interstitial fluid. You can see this in this figure. Here is the area is called interstitial area or interstitial space, where this capillary tube containing tissue is not same as the basement tissue, and both tissues containing cells are different. So this space is called interstitial space, and the fluid here is interstitial fluid. Then next one is intercellular space. You can see here for intercellular space, this is the interstellar space here, and near it this the tissue system containing cell are same. Both are composed of epithelial cells. So this area is called intercellular space, and the fluid content here is intercellular fluid. So next one is acidosis and alkalosis. So acidity and alkalinity depends on the hydrogen ion concentration in body fluid. If the hydrogen ion concentration less than 7.3, the features regarded as acidosis. When more than 7.4, that is regarded as alkalosis. So for acidosis, increase in hydrogen ion concentration, primarily reduction in the serum concentration of bicarbonate, and secondarily decrease in the arterial partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and reduction in blood pH, which causes acidosis. So reduction in blood pH means the blood is acidic in nature. Next one is alkalosis. The decrease in hydrogen ion concentration or gain in bicarbonate is called alkalosis. Then next one, pH in various body fluid. So you can see this, the body fluid like urine, blood, gastric juice, saliva, and bile, semen. So in urine, the pH or hydrogen ion concentration is 4.5 to 8.0. For blood, 7.4 to 7.5. For gastric juice, 1.3 to 1.5 to 3.5. For saliva, 5.4 to 7.5. For bile, 6.0 to 8.5. For semen 7.2 to 7.6. You can see here for gastric juice it is acidic, means below 7 point below 7. So why this is acidic? Because gastric juice contains hydrochloric acid, so it is acidic in nature. But here for urine you can see this 4.5 to 8.0, means urine sometimes acidic and sometimes alkaline or basic. So from this table we got that the pH varies from 1.5 to 8.5 due to some metabolic interference. Then the Henderson and Hasselbalch equation. This equation gives that pH is equal to pKa plus log base by acid. So for pKa 6.1, why we are taking the value 6.1? Because of bicarbonate buffer concentration. So what is pKa? pKa is the strength of an acid while the negative logarithm of Ka. So next one is log base by acid. For base we are taking the concentration of bicarbonate, and for acid the concentration of carbonic acid. So this 24 and 1.2 is taken statistically. Then the buffer system in human physiology, means what are the buffer system acting in physiology described here. So this is bicarbonate buffer, then phosphate buffer, then protein buffer. So for bicarbonate buffer, now there is a mixture of bicarbonate and carbonic acid in the ratio of 20:1. For phosphate buffer, that is disodium hydrogen phosphate and sodium phosphate in the ratio of 4:1. For protein buffer, that is albumin with hemoglobin. The ratio is 6:1. Then the mechanism deals with acid base balance. So the various buffer system is blood buffer system, respiratory system and renal system. In blood buffer system the response is immediate. For respiratory system the response is temporary. For renal system the response is permanent. Then we'll go for blood buffer system. So here we can see that there is three buffer system: blood buffer system, bicarbonate, phosphate and protein. So for bicarbonate buffer system there is a mixture of bicarbonate and carbonic acid in the ratio of 20:1. For phosphate buffer, that is disodium acid phosphate with sodium dihydrogen phosphate, the ratio is 4:1. And next protein, albumin and hemoglobin is there, the ratio varying. Why the ratio is varying? This is due to the presence of active imidazole and histidine. So in the bicarbonate buffer you see the mixture and the ratio, that's why the pH is 6.1. Next for phosphate buffer it is the pH is 6.8. For protein buffer the pH is 6.1. So in bicarbonate buffer system pH depends on the physiological control and quantity in extracellular fluid. You know what is the extracellular fluid. So next one is phosphate buffer system. This is more closer to physiological pH. Okay, the pH is nearer related to cell and kidney, right? Then for protein buffer the ratio is varying. The pH is 6.1 due to presence of active imidazole and histidine. Next one is in plasma and kidney, carbon dioxide which is from cells diffuses into plasma and reacts with water in the presence of enzyme, that is the enzyme is carbonic anhydrase, which forms carbonic acid. Next one is carbonic acid after dissociation produces carbonate ion and hydrogen ion, where hydrogen ion causes acidity. This is the equation: CO2 plus H2O, that is carbon dioxide and water, in the presence of carbonic anhydrase, it forms carbonic acid. When dissociates, carbonic acid forms bicarbonate and hydrogen ion. Next one, respiratory system. Mechanism is there. There is two mechanisms are there. One is hypo and hyperventilation. Number two is presence of hemoglobin. First one, hypoventilation. In case of hypoventilation, increase in partial blood pressure of carbon dioxide. Because of retention of carbon dioxide in the body, the dissolution of carbonic acid increases, which corrects alkalosis and cause increase in acidosis. So here acidosis increases. Next one is hyperventilation. In case of hyperventilation, lungs blow out carbon dioxide. The partial pressure of carbon dioxide decreases, which decrease the dissolution of carbonic acid that corrects acidosis. So here the acidosis is corrected. Next is the presence of hemoglobin. In tissue level, the formation of carbonic acid done in the presence of carbonic anhydrase, and the carbonic acid dissociates into bicarbonate and hydrogen ion and causes acidity. So this is the equation: H2O plus CO2, it gives H2CO3, which dissociates into H plus and CO3 minus. In the presence of hemoglobin, it forms hydroxyhemoglobin. In lungs, oxygen reacts with protonated deoxyhemoglobin releasing proton, and with the combination of bicarbonate, it forms carbonic acid, where carbonic acid dissociates into carbon dioxide and water. Next one, renal mechanism. Renal mechanism deals with four mediators, that is excretion of hydrogen ion. Next one is reabsorption of bicarbonate ion, excretion of tritable acid, then excretion of ammonium ion. First one, excretion of hydrogen ion. So here you can see this. This is three compartment model: blood, extracellular fluid. The next one is PCT, proximal converted tubule. The next one is tubular lumen. What happens here? In blood and extracellular fluid, sodium and carbonic acid reabsorption takes place simultaneously. So in the same time, sodium and carbonic acid absorption takes place. What is inside proximal converted tube, PCT? In renal tubular cell, in the presence of active carbonic anhydrase, carbon dioxide and water forms carbonic acid, excuse me, which further dissociates into that carbonic acid further dissociates into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. Then inside tubular lumen, in exchange with hydrogen ion, sodium ion enters to the PCT, and hydrogen ion moves to tubular lumen and excreted in urine. Thus urine becomes acidic. You can see this, how the bicarbonate forms from carbonic acid, and carbonic acid formed from water and carbon dioxide in the presence of carbonic anhydrase. After the formation of dissociation of carbonic acid, the hydrogen ion is formed here, and the hydrogen ion goes out to tubular lumen and excrete from through urine, which is due to presence of hydrogen ion, the urine is acidic. In the same time, sodium ion comes to tubular lumen to PCT and then to blood ECF. So next one is sodiums. Here that side show you, and I am continuing this left side. Some typical points are there. Sodium salts are removed from the plasma by glomerular filtration. Next, removed sodium salts with carbonic acid, which produces hydrogen ion and becomes acidic. Na plus H2CO3, it gives Na plus HCO3 minus plus H plus. Next one is sodium bicarbonate returns to plasma and H plus enters to tubular fluid, causes acidity. These three terms you can see here in this slide. Next is reabsorption of bicarbonate ion. So it is very simple. Where bicarbonate is filtered directly from glomerulus to tubular lumen. Here you can see this. From tubular lumen, the carbonic acid comes to PCT and here dissociates into H2 and CO2. Once again, in the presence of carbonic anhydrase, it forms carbonic acid, then dissociates into bicarbonate and hydrogen ion. Next is excretion of titratable acid. Here hydrogen phosphate serves as buffer system which maintains the pH at 7.4, which is slightly alkaline and near to physiological pH, but in kidney the pH drops to 4.5 to 4.8. In vascular system, HPO4 minus H2PO4 minus, the ratio is 4:1, which shows the pH 7. In urine, this system gives pH at 4, where the ratio is 1:99. Here you can see this sodium releases from here to PCT, then from PCT to blood. So disodium hydrogen phosphate releases sodium plus sodium hydrogen phosphate, then also hydrogen ion. This hydrogen ion causes the urine acidic. So another thing is that potassium also having role in physiological acid-base balance, where potassium ion involves in exchange process by which sodium ion reabsorbed from the tubular fluid. When the amount of sodium ion at distal tubule is low and hydrogen ion secretion by the kidney tubule is increased, then the potassium excretion is decreased. That's how the physiological acid-base properties balanced. Okay, you can see this figure. Next one is excretion of ammonium ion. Here in PCT, the presence of enzyme glutaminase converts glutamine to glutamate and ammonia. You can see this here. In PCT, glutamine is converted to glutamate in the presence of glutaminase enzyme and also releases ammonia. Ammonia transferred to the tubular lumen and which combines hydrogen with hydrogen. This you can see this. The ammonia combines with hydrogen which forms ammonium ion. This is ammonium ion, right? In which further releases through kidney, which is weak acidic in nature. So you know this is the ammonia is a basic agent, is a Lewis base. What happens when hydrogen ion combines with ammonia, it forms ammonium ion, which is weakly acidic in nature and releases through kidney or urine. So this where you can get the hydrogen ion when bicarbonate and when carbonic acid dissociates, it forms bicarbonate and hydrogen ion, and ion releases to tubular element and reacts with ammonia and forms ammonium ion. So next one is disturbances associated with acid base balance. First one is respiratory acidosis. When carbon dioxide cannot eliminated from blood, the carbonic acid content increases in plasma due to depression of respiratory system due to chronic it is due to chronic heart failure, pneumonia, emphysema. What is the meaning of emphysema? Is loss of electricity. The next one is poisoning with barbiturates and or narcotics. This condition compensated by an increase of respiration and by maintaining the ratio of bicarbonate and carbonic acid in the ratio of 1 is to 20. 1 is to 20. Next one is respiratory alkalosis. Fall of carbonic acid level at plasma due to hyperventilation in the lungs and due to chronic fever, anorexia, salicylate poisoning and at high altitude. The disorder encountered by increase in bicarbonate excretion by kidney. Next one is metabolic acidosis. So due to renal failure, bicarbonate fraction of plasma decreases because hydrogen ion and ammonium ion and sodium ion unable to exchange appropriately. In case of diabetic mellitus, there is a loss of fixed bases, that is sodium ion with keto acid. In case of severe dehydration due to diarrhea and vomiting, there is a loss of bicarbonate fraction. This case can be solved by increased artificial respiration, and due to this more amount of carbon dioxide is eliminated to maintain the bicarbonate and carbonic acid level. The next one is metabolic alkalosis. Case 1, loss of acid or loss of gastric juice due to high intestinal obstruction. Case 2, intake of larger volume of alkali, that is those patients taking antacid for peptic ulcer for a long term use. This metabolic acidosis can be avoided by respiratory dispersion to retain carbon dioxide, increase urination to excrete alkali materials through kidney. So this is the partial end of the topic. We'll discuss next on next slide and next view. So best wishes from Pratibhavana. Have a nice day.